Hi everybody, this is Terry. I'm a beginner gardener in Zone 7B in the United States in the South. And today I would like to share with you three simple ways to design your garden space. These three ways have worked for me, and I really didn't know how to do all this in the beginning. I had to watch a lot of YouTube videos, and I didn't know what I was trying to get at or try to focus on was designing a garden space. And I love seeing plants, so I was just watching a lot of YouTube videos on gardening. And what I realized is that I was more focused on the layout of the garden spaces more than the plants themselves. So that's how I started, but I had to watch a lot of YouTube videos to figure out. And then later on, as I was already designing my garden beds, I um, came to other videos that talked about gardening designs, and that's how I found out about all the other components of gardening designs. I will link the three garden YouTube channels that I think are really good, and you can check them out. A couple of them have series on gardening designs. So check those out and let me know if you've already seen them, if you already found them helpful. That would be great. So first of all, what is a garden design? So I looked it up and Google says garden garden design is the art and process of designing and creating plans for layout and planting of gardens and landscapes. So what do you do if you are a brand new gardener who's um, doesn't know anything about gardening design, doesn't know anything about gardening in general. So the first thing that I would recommend is call your before you dig service department. If you're in the United States, this service is free. This is free, and it's an 811 number. You can call the number. You can talk to somebody live, or you can request it online for someone to come to your property. And what they'll do is they will mark where your utility lines are, where they're buried, and they will only do public lines. They won't do private lines like irrigation lines and septic tanks, um, where you have your septic tanks. So we have a septic tank, and you would have to go to a different department. I think for us, it was the environmental health department, and then they'll tell you exactly where your septic tank is. So that way, you know not to do anything around it or plant something around it. So that would be the first thing that I would recommend. Okay, the second recommendation or the second tip is to look around or survey your property and look to see what you already have established. It could be a tree, an established tree that you have at the corner of the house, for example. It could be a playground, a shed, a sidewalk. Let's see what else, or just the house itself. So that's where I would start looking. And what you can do is to build around that established structure. And you can extend your garden from there. You can build around it. But anyway, so what you want to do is at the end, you want each garden space to have some kind of connection with the other garden spaces. The easiest way that I found um, that's helpful is to create garden paths from one space to another, so that way um, all the spaces will be harmonious, so they kind of have some kind of connection to one another instead of existing in isolation, if that makes sense. um, what if you don't have anything at all, like not an established tree, or it's a new development? What do you do then? I would suggest going to Google Earth. Um, I think there's an app for it. Also, you can just Google it and then put in your address, and you will see a layout of your house, of your property. So you can draw out your garden spaces that way as well, and make sure that each garden space is connected to another garden space by way of a garden path. Maybe you want to add a little garden bridge to connect one space to another. So whatever you want to do, just make sure there's some kind of connection between each garden space. So that would be my recommendation. So the third tip or recommendation is to figure out what kind of lines you want to have for your garden spaces. You can have curved lines, you can have straight lines, you can have a combination of the different lines. But just know that straight lines tend to be more rigid, more formal, probably harder to do. If you made a mistake with straight lines, it's easier to see versus curved lines. So let's talk about curved lines. Curved lines are more pleasing to the eyes, and I consider curved lines to be more playful, and there's more interest to curved lines as opposed to straight lines. So I right now I mostly have curved lines, but I have a particular section in the front that a little bit more straight in the way the design is. So it's worked out pretty good, but there's still a little section that I'm looking at it, and it's still doesn't look straight. So that's what I mean. It's harder to do straight lines. But if you would like to have a formal garden, so to speak, then straight lines is the way to go. So those are it. Those are the three easy ways to start designing your garden spaces if you are a beginner. So I hope you found these tips helpful. And if you like this kind of video, please give me a thumbs up so I will know for future videos that you would like for me to post this kind of videos for you. So anyway, until next time, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good day.